Our agreement today on a groundbreaking returns pilot. For the very first time, migrants arriving via small boat will be detained and returned to France in short order. In exchange for every return, a different individual will be allowed to come here via a safe route, controlled and legal.
During the French president's state visit this week, Emmanuel Macron and Keir Starmer have displayed a particularly friendly relationship. Downing Street made it clear that its connection with France is stronger than ever during the first tour by an EU member state leader since the Brexit referendum in 2016. Will Number 10's visit result in a new arrangement to curb the number of illegal migrants crossing the English Channel? The details of a new, one-in, one-out arrangement are apparently being worked out behind closed doors ahead of Starmer and Macron's joint press appearance this afternoon. Welcome to the channel. Please like and comment to help us improve. Thanks. Here's a peek at what they are likely to announce. Starmer and Macron plan to introduce a one-in, one-out returns policy on Thursday. Initially, it would allow up to 50 small boat migrants who arrived in the UK via the English Channel to be returned to France each week. These migrants would be returned to sites throughout France, away from its northern shore. If they attempted to return to the UK again, they would be recognised using biometric information and deported. According to The Times, an experimental project aims to return some 800 migrants to France by the end of 2025. Once the strategy has proven to be effective, it will be ramped up. Naturally, France needs something in exchange for taking in more refugees, and money alone is insufficient. The UK has agreed to accept the same number of asylum seekers from France, provided they have a family link in the UK. Starmer is also anticipated to announce a further crackdown on illegal working by migrants in the UK, which is frequently viewed in France as a pull factor for those willing to make the risky trek across the Channel. All foreigners in the UK will also require a digital ID from the government's e-visa system to confirm their eligibility to live and work here. Immigration enforcement agents equipped with mobile biometric kits will do the check. France may potentially offer to stop migrant boats at sea in exchange for extra money from the UK to pay additional police patrols on beaches. The Prime Minister is anticipated to say that the initiative will prevent individuals attempting to cross the Channel and will aid in his earlier goal of smashing the people smuggling gangs. However, assuming crossings continue at the current rate, only 1 in every 17 migrants will be repatriated during the brief trial scheme. Since Labour's election, an average of 843 migrants have arrived in the UK each week. That equates to a stunning 43,842 in total. As Labour seeks to regain voter support following a dismal first year in office, they hope to deflate Reform UK's sales by halting the boats. If it works, this pact could be an excellent way to expose Reform leader Nigel Farage, whose right-wing party is so intent on curbing migration. If the plan is approved, it will be the first time France has agreed to take back refugees since the crisis began in 2018. It's expected to cost the British taxpayer millions of pounds. Taxpayers will be responsible for funding processing hubs in France, as well as legal fees, transportation, and security expenditures. That is in addition to the £770 million the UK has given to France over the last 12 years to curb the constant flow of illegal migration to the UK. There are also concerns in France that the country would become a return hub for migrants. EU asylum regulations require member states to return unlawful migrants to the first EU country they entered, but there has already been opposition from other member countries that do not wish to accept individuals rejected by the UK. That's before we even consider the practical issues that may occur, as well as potential legal challenges from migrants. The Tory Shadow Home Minister, Chris Philp, said, this pact would ensure that 94% of illegal migrants crossing the Channel will be allowed to stay. That is pathetic and will not discourage anyone. In contrast, the Rwanda deterrent would have resulted in the removal of all unlawful migrants, effectively deterring anyone from crossing the Channel. Keir Starmer's failure continues. Keir Starmer claims to have deported more migrants in 9 months since Labour's election than the Rwanda programme would have in 80 years. After taking office, the government reversed the Conservatives' plan to deport alleged illegal migrants to Rwanda. However, the Prime Minister stated today that they have still been able to deport a large number of other migrants, with over 24,000 persons with no legal right to be in the UK having been removed since July. Starmer, addressing at the two-day organised immigration crime summit in London in front of representatives from more than 40 foreign partners, stated that this is the greatest rate of return in 8 years. According to Number 10, the government has supervised 4 of the largest returning charter flights in UK history, carrying over 850 people. The Prime Minister stated, "We are shifting resources away from the Tories' wasteful Rwanda project." The proposal would have cost taxpayers £700 million to remove only 4 volunteers. Even if the scheme had been successful, they said they could remove 300 people per year. Well, since taking government, we've returned more than 24,000 people who had no right to be here, which would have taken the Rwanda system 80 years to complete. That's what I mean about not falling for gimmicks. Of the 24,103 returns, 6,339 were forced returns of people who had no legal right to remain in the UK, 3,594 were foreign national offenders, and 6,781 were asylum-related returns. The Prime Minister also stated that Monday's session was the largest gathering of countries from various smuggling routes to address the issue. He stated that serious problems require serious solutions, and that concrete proposals are now ready. He said that people smuggling is a global security problem that must be dealt in the same way as terrorism, with a united strategy, because illegal migration is a massive driver of global insecurity. Starmer went on to say, "It makes me upset, really, because it is unjust to ordinary working people who pay the price, from the expense of hotels to our public services, which are under strain. And it's unfair on the illegal migrants themselves, because these are vulnerable people being ruthlessly exploited by vile gangs." His remark came after Border Security Minister Angela Eagle told Sky News that the government is open to offshore agreements for asylum processing, which aligns with the Rwanda plan. She also confessed that the government was still disappointed with the amount of migrant boats arriving on UK ports. She replied, "Of course, we're disappointed. Some of this is due to having more people on each boat, which is also more unsafe and reckless. But what we have to do, we've been in government for 8 months, these people smugglers have been allowed to establish themselves over the channel and become very competent with their global networks over the last 6 years. We are going to demolish them by collaborating with other people across jurisdictions, including operationally. But we need time to accomplish it, and we need events like this to help us collaborate and be more productive." The government is also working on a border security, asylum, and immigration bill. Proposed legislation in the Commons aims to confiscate migrants' phones, identify smugglers, and criminalize those who threaten lives at sea.